We're having a look at an old game, Wargame Red Dragon. Got our console over here if you want to talk to your friends. If you've got a friend, you can mute players, you can add a friend, and close the console. And over on the left side is our menu options for solo. And then we've got our multiplayer ranks and games and matches. And then our decks, our profile, and our options. And then quit. And then when you play different games, whether it be a skirmish or in your multiplayer, you get XP and you level up. Let's go ahead and have a look at solo. So we've got some campaigns, starting with easier ones, go down to harder. We've got a couple tutorials, which is basically just pictures and some text, kind of explaining a little bit about the categories. Can't combat, how it works. It's not very in-depth, but there's a little bit of tutorial there. Load games if you have any games that you played. And then we've got skirmish mode. This is playing against the AI. You can set up your game here. You've got some different maps all the way up to 4v4. You can set it up to conquest or destruction or economy. How many points you want, how many points to win the match. Time limit, you can also go down to no time limit. Income, how many points do you get, how fast do you get your points, and then of course these are different decks that you can create, that you might have created, where they'll show up in here. You can actually have a teammate, an AI teammate, and you can assign them a deck that you created as well. And then you can play against the computer as the red team. You can also change that if you want to. If you want both teams to be blue 4 or red 4, you can change that. Mix it up a little bit. You can even switch teams if you want to play on the other team. Things like that. A lot of different options. And here we got the deck list. These are decks that you might have created. They'll show up in here. You can create a deck. And then here's the armory, which gives you an overview of all the different units, categories, and that you can pick from. When you want to create a deck, this is what you would select from. You got your countries. Of course, creating a deck gives you a whole nother area where you're going to pick from those, from the armory. So you name it, what side you want it to be on, whether you want a bonus, or if you pick a particular country, for example, USA, then you get prototype units. For example, you might get the F-117 unlocked if you just play against play using one country or particular coalition. You get some more bonuses, which unlocks more slots in your deck if you were to pick types, but then you're restricted to whatever that type is that you've picked. You can pick a different era also, or you can just have no bonus and just go have at it. So you go to create deck. Here's your slots for the different areas. So we've got our vehicles area here, vehicles that might show up depending on what country you want and what side you've just picked from. Here's your logistic section. Got infantry, your support. This game's a pretty deep game, and of course you've got all your stats for each of the units, each vehicle or unit, and here's the vehicle and recon, tanks, helicopters, the air that's available, air power. Now I didn't select a particular country, so I don't have the prototypes unlocked. And then here's the naval section. If you were to play on a particular, you have to play on a naval map in order to be able to use any of these in the naval section, the ships and certain aircraft. Let's go back. I'll show you prototypes. So if we go up to create, and then let's go ahead and do NORAD coalition with prototype units unlocked, and then you get a +10 activation points. So just call it new deck. And over in the plane section there's prototypes, and it'll say down here in the bottom if it's a prototype. Here's one, the EF 101B. It's a prototype. Of course these are older planes now, but for the time they were new. Here's the F-117 Nighthawk. Pretty stellar plane there. So anyways, that's prototypes. So that's the decks. Let's see what else do we can look at. So coming back to the main menu, here's the multiplayer section. You've got different lobbies, rooms you can go into. I wouldn't recommend going into one unless you know how to play this and you have a pretty good handle of it on it. Have a pretty good understanding of how the game works. Then we've got ranked games, leaderboards, different things you can do in multiplayer. Create your own multiplayer room. You can actually create a private room, public or private. You can invite a friend, and restrictions if you want, whatever. Of course, we went and looked at the deck. Then here's profile. Friends show up in here. Here's your stats, games that you've played. You can see that I play a lot of multiplayer, so that's why it's all 0. Okay, that's a joke. Skirmish, 15 hours. 285 hours. We got replays, games that you play in your skirmish mode. You can actually play them back. Change your nickname. Here's some options. There's quite a few things that you can change, and I would recommend just troubleshoot, I should say. Just play around with it to see what things do. You can change the icon types, the style, whether you want them to be the Red Dragon or from European escalation, size, controls. There's not a lot of controls, but there is some. For example, there isn't a pause control, key binding for pausing or speeding up the game, slowing it down. We've got our audio, some audio settings. And then here's video settings. Screen quality, graphics quality, a lot of different things you can tweak in here. And when you first install the game, it'll do an auto calibration type thing and put settings as to what the game is saying you can run this at, what your computer can run this game at. Here's the credits. And let's go back to the start. So that's an overview of Wargame Red Dragon, the menus, and a little bit of the basics of the game, and setting up the decks. Thanks for watching.